Right. So what's the benefits of high level of brand equity? You create loyalty, repetitive actions. You're less vulnerable to marketing crisis. You have larger margins because people keep coming, people keep buying. More inelastic customer response to price increase, more elastic customer response to price decrease. When you have price increase, people say, oh, we understand, times are changing, or things have moved up. So it moved from 370 naira pack to about 430. It's okay, it's still not, I'll buy it. But if it's not a brand that you really like, you're like, what the heck, I'll go and buy some other seasoning and I'll use. So that's what happens when you have a high end. And then you create trade, cooperation, and support. Everybody in the market wants your product because people will go for it. You don't find distributors wanting to stock items that are not moving. In fact, when you go, you have to say, oh, it moves very well, you should buy it, because they are guessing that for people to be buying it, that means it must be good. And then increased marketing communication effectiveness. A lot of things that put marketing executives and marketing managers in trouble is when the challenges with the brand, every marketing effort you put doesn't come back with the appropriate returns, and the company begins to ask you, the manager begins to ask you questions. You have spent so much on adverts, we're not seeing it in sales. We need to go back and check how we're building the brand. Where have we missed it? Check all the P's. Is the pricing right? Is the product properly distributed? A lot of times in the past, I've been involved in certain products that immediately will launch into the market because of the kind of manufacturing method we have adopted. Very soon we will run out of stock. And after creating such a hype and people are going for the product, suddenly you run out of stock. It's so crazy. It should never happen to anyone. You must plan ahead and say, hey, I'm anticipating that all my efforts will yield so and so. So you've put in contingencies in place so that if your demand should soar, you can easily brace up and fit it in. And so programs to build brand equity, you see that we're tying back to what we learned when we were discussing marketing. Pricing strategy is critical. How do we want to penetrate the market? Channel of distribution. Is your goods supermarket good or is open market? You need to check how it's going to move and know it, and you court that channel. Court meaning COURT. You need to engage them, see what makes them tweak, what kind of margins will you give them so that they rush for your products and it works. For other channels like supermarket, all they're interested in, are you going to collect are you going to have a no sale return policy? A lot of companies are afraid to do that. But in the UK or wherever, they'll gladly tell you no sale return because they know you are going to sell. But because they've given you that assurance, you will go out of your way to do great things to make sure that brand sells, and you don't even need to do any no sales return. But other people say, no, we don't have that policy, and they would not collect your product from you, and so you go all over the place carrying the products in your hands and you're not having people to move it for you. And I put here brand communications. We talked about brand communications. How do you communicate out there in the market? What do you tell your customers, your consumers? And I talked about 5 rules. It's about brands playing rugby. How do you protect your brand's equity? Make sure no activity that would destroy or dent the image of your brand happens. It must never happen in your lifetime. While you work, if your shop, you have said to people, we open every day at 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Any day there's going to be a challenge and please put out a notice. Don't say, I am a small shop owner. We must start inculcating habits and processes that show that we are professionals, we are excellent people at work, rather than just a one-man business trying to survive. No, from the beginning, we start building towards that end. Shoot at moving targets. Which are your customers? Don't look for customers that are not going anywhere. Don't go to look for customers that's a consumer base that is stagnant. For example, I had someone who was going into a food business and they were going to do it on a campus, and I told them that, look, from my experience, it's better you have your main restaurant outside where you have mobility of people. It's not restricted to the people who are living in that area, but anyone passing by can also use it. But who will pass by and go into a university community? You are restricted to the consumer in that place. Now, while that place will have their market, if that is your sole market, when they're on holiday, what are you going to be doing? You take tax holiday or what? No, you're supposed to be at work all around the year. So you need to have your existence somewhere else and be supporting such a base so that when they're on holiday, then all your activities happen here. When they're back, then you are enjoying your two streams. So we need to plan that way. Then think portfolio and think life cycle. We talked about life cycle earlier on. What's your portfolio going to be like? Do you have a major line that, yes, this is the major one, and these are the other ones who are holding up, so that if there's anything that shakes this main one, we can use these smaller ones to show up. And if there's activity that is eroding the smaller ones in the main market, we have this main one. But a lot of people usually think one line. Oh, this is one thing that I'm working with. I'm making clothes. I only do clothes for women. I do that. What stops us from going into other markets and thinking of other things that women use and adding it to the line so that you have an integrated thingy? If you're doing underwear, make sure you have other things that women will look for. Maybe it's shoes. Maybe you don't want to do the full range, but let there be something so that every woman that comes has an opportunity to get more. Or if you restrict it to that, they might not come because they would rather go somewhere else where they will have a better array of all those things that they need. And then don't forget the most unfashionable. Think mass markets. While mass market can be crap, sometimes that's where the money is. You see people like Chi, they will never stop doing mass because they've understood the trick of that market and they're doing well. So if you have the opportunity to manufacture or to produce anything, start thinking of how to make it in such volumes that you can be pushing out into other places than your immediate limits. Think logistics. You don't have to sell it by yourself. Look for other people who have created that channel and ride on their channel. It's better to be the spoke in a bicycle that is moving than a bicycle that is going nowhere. As long as that bicycle is moving, be the spoke. It will take you places. But if you'd rather be a bicycle, you want to be in charge, you stay in one place. And that's not going to work for the business. And of course, the media. The media helps push for prominence for whether your brand, your shop, or whatever it is you're building.